friends? I'm back, week 6, free NFL bets podcast. So glad to be back. Obviously, it's really great when you just keep winning, like I have. I just keep winning, guys. I'm 53 and 33. It's like 61%. It's unreal. I'm up 47 units on the season. So if you're betting $100 per unit, you'd be up $4,700 right now. Last week I went 8 and 2 plus 15 units. I almost swept the board, kind of. I did bet the Browns, so there's that. Obviously, they're a mess. They're a mess. But I had the Steelers on Sunday night for a 5-unit play. They lost on last play of the game. Then I had the Bengals plus 3. That pushed, but that was also a 5-unit play. So it could have been really crazy. It could have been an amazing, amazing week. But no complaints here. 15 units is still amazing. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, amazing in my book. And we just keep pushing on, guys. And like I've been saying all season, 53 and 33. I mean, my record, I've been right around 59, 60%. Some people do have incredible seasons where they go 60% over like 200 plays. No, that's not unheard of. So I'm not going to say this isn't sustainable. The likelihood of it being sustainable, probably not. You know, I probably end right where I always do, right around 55%. But I don't like to limit myself. I say let's keep pushing. I'm in a good groove. I've been seeing the NFL extremely well, dating all the way back, well, past couple of years since I've been betting the NFL. I've won every single season. But especially this year, dating back to the preseason, I feel confident. I feel good. I've been winning, guys. So let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. All right. If you're new to the podcast, thanks for listening. If you're new on watching me on YouTube, thanks for viewing me there. I'm on all social media platforms at Easy Money Wins. So that's where I release all of my plays at on Twitter right now. That's where you get all my official plays. It's at Easy Money Wins with the S at the end. Very simple. Easy Money Wins. So yeah, I release all my plays there, and I give a detailed breakdown on Twitter. I'm a premium account now on Twitter. And so I write a good amount on there. So yeah, give me a follow there. That's where you'll find all my official plays. You can track them there. So with all that said, let's get into what you guys are here for, and that is winning information. Sorry, excuse me, guys. All right. Thursday Night Football. You got the 49ers at the Seahawks. It's a very interesting spot. I believe the 49ers... No. They're not on a bye. But, sorry guys, just a second. My nose is running. Okay, I'm good. All right, 49ers, minus 3.5 right now. And the total's at 49.5. Now, I had a really busy day. I didn't get a chance to look at the in-depth injury report. I'm going to do that right after this podcast because the reason I do it on Wednesday night is so that I have a chance to look at that first injury report. But I got a lot of the notifications. I've seen what's been coming in. It looks like Fred Warner's going to play. It looks like George Kittle's going to play for the 49ers. Their safety, Tula Fonga, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's going to miss it. I think he's on IR, actually. On the other side, the Seahawks. The Seahawks are going to be without Woolen and Uchenna and Wosu, the defensive end. So Woolen is the cornerback, and then Nwosu is the edge rusher guy. So initially, the total was at 47.5, and I think that it's just, guys, it's so hard. I mean, we saw it last Thursday night, and this is what I've been kind of saying all season, right? Even though the trends don't point that way, because last week I believe that was the first Thursday night game where the total went over, and I mean it flew over. I mean that was a back and forth. I mean Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins were on fire, both of them, right? I mean they couldn't stop scoring points. So, excuse me. So and that's what I keep saying. And even the Miami and the Buffalo like week 2 Thursday night football game. That was trending over too before Tua got hurt, and that would have gone over if Tua was healthy. It would have gone over. So I want to bet under this 49.5 really badly, guys, really badly, and I might get there, but it's only going to be a 3-unit play. Because my theory is this: these Thursday night football games, the defenses are fatigued, they're worn down from playing on Sunday, they're not as fresh. And I know. I mean, this is just my hypothesis. This is just me, just speculating and viewing. From what I see, the product on the field, it's sloppy, it's not clean, it's not. The defenses don't look like they're tackling the best. Now, last year, a lot of Thursday night games went under. That was the trend. They were going under at an alarming rate. So, I mean, take with what I'm saying as a grain of salt, but that's just how I feel. That's kind of how I've been seeing it. But with that said, even though I'm a little worried about that, I think I still might get there with this under 49.5. Even with the defensive injuries on both sides of the ball, I mean, on both sides for each team, I might get there. This is just a little bit too high, guys. A little bit too high. If you think back last week, the Seahawks had a defensive touchdown, a fluke defensive touchdown, and then also the Giants blocked the field goal and returned it, and they didn't even have to. So that game would have ended like 43. So, and same with the 49ers. They blocked the field goal, and they returned it for a touchdown. And they still didn't go over in their total. So, I really think 49.5 is too high, guys. I really do. And I know there's been some over money that's really bumped this up because it opened at like 47.5, 47. Now it's all the way up to 49.5. But I'm telling you, if this was a game on Sunday and this line was 49.5, it would be an automatic play for me under 3-unit play. And it still might be. It still might be. Just follow me on Twitter at EasyMoneyWins, see if I release it or not. And we'll go from there. But the side, I'm also interested on the 49ers. But I do believe this number is just a touch too rich. I think this is more of a Seahawks number, the plus 3.5. Even though I think the 49ers win. I think this is a classic case of the 49ers could win by a field goal, Seahawks cover, 49ers win. And if you've been listening to me for like the first like 6 weeks of this podcast, and just my advice on Twitter and like what I give out is this, guys: don't make betting so complicated. There's so many so-called like sharps and wise guys out there that claim that they really know what's going on. But guys, this is the math. And I haven't even done it this year. I haven't even done it. I've just been following the NFL for like 15 years, like from a betting standpoint, where I know how it works. If you win the game, you cover the point spread around 82, 83% of the time. I guarantee you guys, you can go back in any of these weeks, and on average, it's probably going to be anywhere from like 75% to like 90% of the winners will cover the spread. Now, obviously, if the underdogs win, they're covering the spread, right? So, but likewise, if the favorites win, even if it's a high number, they usually cover the spread, okay? Now, I know underdogs of +6 or more have been covering at an alarming rate, but they're also like, I think they're 11-8 straight up. So, again, if they're going to win the game, they're going to cover the spread more times than not. But this is the one situation, this might be one of the two games this week where a team wins and doesn't cover. Because people know, hey, 49ers, they have high expectations. They have a very good team, a lot more continuity, more cohesion with the coaching staff, their identity. They've let 2 games slip away in the division. This is their 3rd divisional game now. They were up and they squandered that one against the Rams, and they were up last week against the Cardinals, and they squandered that one in the 4th quarter as well. Okay, really bad, uncharacteristic of them. All right, now they're going to Seattle, 3rd divisional game. I mean, this is just like a San Francisco spot in my opinion. And I say that because the Seahawks, if you look at their 3 wins, they're really not that impressive. They finally played somebody who was good in the Lions, and they got throttled, pretty much throttled. I mean, Geno did pretty well on offense that day. Detroit's got their own defensive issues to figure out. But the Seahawks, then in a flat spot, well, not even a flat spot, they probably just overlooked the Giants. And if you listened to my podcast last week, you knew that I liked the Giants and I wanted to be on them, but I needed at least 2 out of the 3 players from Wan'Dale Robinson to Devin Singletary or Malik Nabers to play. And Singletary and Nabers didn't play, so I stayed off of it. I wish I played it in hindsight, obviously, but Seattle, they're a little overrated in my opinion. A little bit. And maybe the 49ers aren't as good as they've been in years past, but I still think that the 49ers are better than the Seahawks, and they're going to come out and win this game. But it might be close. It might be close, guys. All right. And I might get there with the 49ers. And I usually don't do this. I really usually don't do this. I'm trying not to lay a lot of juice this year. But I might take the 49ers on the money line because I feel like I need to touch the 49ers tomorrow, especially if this number doesn't get to -3. If it gets to -3, probably just take them at -3 and we'll live with it. All right, enough of that game. Let's keep going, guys. Jaguars and Bears in London. This game is in London, England. I think it's at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think so. I'm not entirely sure on that. Starts at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Right now, the line is -2 on the Chicago Bears. The total is at 44.5. I like the over. I think I'm gonna get there with the over. Again, I have to do some checking, right? I have to do some checking, just full injury report. And this is what I said. If you follow me on Twitter, I say so much on there. I give out so much like free just gold, really. I mean, just golden nuggets, honestly. If you heard me, I said on Sunday night, week 6 is going to have a lot of movement. Okay? Head coach got fired. Robert Saleh got fired. There's been like 3, quarterback changes. Okay? 3 different quarterbacks now, right? And then on top of that, injuries, more injuries on defensive side of the ball and skill positions, all over, right? So there's a lot to take in. In my opinion, I think it's a little premature to just be placing bets before the injury reports come out at this time of the year. At this time of the year. All right? And kind of going forward from here on out. Now, what does that mean for this game? Injury report is that Tyson Campbell, Jaguars' best cornerback, designated to come off IR. I believe he practiced today. He could play this Sunday. That'd be a big help to that Jaguars defense because Jaguars defense is a mess right now. They can't cover anybody. And they haven't been as good against the run as I thought they were going to be this year either. So that does lead me to think that the Bears are going to be able to score. And then the Jaguars also have momentum. And they're able to run the ball really well right now. And I know Indianapolis, the first 2 weeks, they were really bad against the run, or maybe the first 3 weeks. But then the weeks 4 and 5, they were really good against the run. And then they kind of resorted back to what they were doing against Jacksonville, and Jacksonville was able to run the ball against them. But still, I still look at that as an opportunity for Jacksonville to be able to run the ball this week. The Bears have a really good secondary. They're very disciplined. They've played with each other for at least 2 seasons now, most of them, if not 3 for some of them. And it's Eberflus's 3rd season. So it's the 3rd season of that defense, right? So that secondary's pretty good, guys. It's pretty good. Can it be beat? I believe it can. I believe Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars' talented wide receivers have a chance to beat them. And hopefully Evan Ingram comes back. Evan Ingram is kind of a safety blanket for Trevor Lawrence. He and Lawrence had really good chemistry last year. So I do think that the Jaguars can move the ball against the Bears and get over 44.5 total for this game right here. And I mean, the Bears offense, they're doing pretty well the last couple of weeks. Caleb Williams has thrown for 300 yards, I believe, in 2 out of the last 3 weeks. And DeAndre Swift has gotten the running game going. So I do lean points. I'll just double check that for the total. For the spread, again, it's kind of been back and forth. They kind of opened like around the pick'em, and then it went all the way up to -2.5. And now there's been some Jaguars money buyback, and I mean just some background information. The Jaguars go to London every year for like, I don't know, guys. It feels like the last like 10 years, 10 seasons. The Jaguars have always been in London. They're very familiar with this. They're so much familiar with this that they're here for 2 weeks. Okay, so they play the Patriots next Sunday in London. They're not going anywhere. They're setting up shop for 2 weeks in London, England. Okay? They're very used to it. They do it every season. This is like their home away from home. All right? So I do consider that an advantage. And they had success. They won both of their games last year. And if you look at, and this is kind of how I do look at these teams, and it's just, I don't know if you can quantify this. I don't think you can because it's just based off of my opinion. My opinion on the players on the Jaguars is that they're way better than a 1-4 team. Way better than a 1-4 team. They should have beat Miami. They had all the chances in the world to beat Cleveland in week 2. They laid an egg against Buffalo on Monday Night Football. And then they had every chance in the world to beat the Texans. They could easily be 4-1 right now. Easily 4-1. Okay? So again, and I said this was my thing. This was like my podcast name last week, right? Or what I named it. Or not officially, but kind of whatever, hypothetically. You're not as good as your best game, and you're not as worse, or you're not as bad as your worst game, right? You're not as good as your best game. You're not as bad as your worst game. So the Jaguars 1-4, that record does not, in my opinion, describe the worth of that team. Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence, third season together. A lot of those defensive players have been together. The offensive line now, like they have like a lot of them have been together for a while. Like this is a team that has an identity. They got the monkey off their back. They got off the schneid. I am going to be on Jacksonville. I will be taking the +2. Hopefully it goes to +3. I highly doubt it gets to +3. My only concern is that like I feel a little uneasy just because the Bears defense, in my opinion, is better than the Jaguars. But if Tyson Campbell does come back this week, Darnell Savage, he plays. I do believe there's enough there to be disruptive enough against Caleb Williams and the Bears, who are flying pretty high right now on a little success streak right now, little winning streak. So I think the Jaguars in London, I think they take care of business, guys. Or not take care of business. I think they know how to handle business in this moment. And they're the more desperate team, no doubt about that. And that's what I look for too. I want the more desperate team. So give me the Jaguars +2. I will get there with that. I'm going to double check the injury report on Friday and make sure everything's lining up before I officially get there with it. Again, follow me on Twitter at EasyMoneyWins for my official release of that. All right, next game. We got the Commanders. This is 1 o'clock Sunday. The Washington Commanders at the Baltimore Ravens. We got +6.5, and the over-under is... Oh, I think that went down a little bit, guys. I see 51.5, but I think it was at 52.5 earlier today, if I do remember correctly. And I agree with that under money. Sorry, I'll keep talking about the totals first. 52.5. This is the thing. So the Baltimore Ravens, Zach Orr is like a brand new defensive coordinator. He used to play for the Ravens, and he had a really bad injury, and he couldn't come back. He was an all-pro linebacker. He's been with the Ravens for like 10 years plus, right? Either coaching or playing for them. Harbaugh hired Dean Pease, who used to be on the Baltimore staff. He hired them as a defensive consultant or assistant defensive something or another. That just happened today. So I'm telling you guys, that's good. And I mean, they really needed to because they're getting gashed and just not finishing games, right? I mean, the Raiders, they had that game won, and the defense melted down the fourth quarter. Then they go to Dallas, right? They give up like 25 unanswered points to Dallas or something like that. And like they almost lost that game. And then they gave up like almost 40 points last week against the Bengals and really deserved to lose that game. So they need help on that defense, right? And I think this is a move in the right direction. And I think there's enough. Like the Ravens have so many players that have just been in that system for more than 3 seasons. And they're healthy. They should be playing better than what they are. And I know they're going up against a difficult task right now with Jaden Daniels with so much momentum in that Commanders offense that you would have some pause, some hesitation to take the under. And I understand that. I mean, Jaden Daniels looks legit. I think he is legit. I'm a high on him. But just the way I know football works, sometimes things don't make sense. Sometimes games don't go the way, there's outliers. And, sometimes there's more extreme outlier games. And I think the Commanders' offense, like I've been saying, guys, you're not as good as your best game. They've had a lot of best games recently. I think this offense is very good, but I don't think they're going to continue this. And I think it does end this week. And I really might get there with under 51 and a half. 51's a key number in totals betting. It's just simple, guys. It's just the multiples of 7 and 3. If you just add those up, like, they're saying Baltimore's 6.5 favorite. That this game is like gonna be 29-22 or something like that. Yeah, 29-22. That'd get to 51, and then that'd be a 7-point spread. That's roughly where they think the game's gonna end at. Or 28-23. 28-23 is like 5 points, in there. So yeah, so basically that's what they're saying the score is gonna be. Now, but as we know, like with 51, it's usually 27-24 is how it gets there, 31-20. Like those are more realistic football point totals for the teams, right? So that's just how it shakes out. That's why 51 is such a key number. And that's why you see a lot of these totals hang around those key numbers. Like totals, if they're around 51, they usually stay around 51. Same with 47. Same with 43, same with 41, same with 37. Like all the totals are right around those numbers. Usually don't see 45s and they just stay 45 all week. They usually go up, but they go down a little bit. And it's just because a lot, the 7 and 3, like there's not a lot of safeties. Teams go for 2-point conversions more often now, but it's not the norm. So usually 7 and 3, 7 and 3. They just keep adding up, and that's why these totals are usually around there. And it's not like a high percentage; it's only like a 3% chance. 3% of the time where a total lands on 51. But it's still significant in the long run. But I do lean under here. So sorry guys, I go off on little tangents. I just like to educate people. New people get into this. New people get into sports betting because there's so many people that are like selling you this whole like get rich quick scheme and do parlays and do teasers and do all that stuff. I've done that stuff, guys. Some people get lucky. I've gotten a little bit lucky with some of the parlays I've done in my life. But in order to like just consistently make money and not lose money doing this, I've found the most success, and I know a lot of betting experts. They try to bet minus 110. Don't go above minus 110. If you do have to go above minus 110, do it sparingly. And just bet sides and totals, straight bets. Just straight bets. Just straight bets. Don't tease, don't parlay. So that's what I've been doing. It's working fantastic, guys. And you just stay disciplined with that. You don't overbet your bet size. You follow a unit system. My unit system is 1 unit to 5 units. 1 unit is 0.0025% of my bankroll, so it's not even 1%. 1 unit is not 1% for me. It's 1/4%. So a 4-unit play, that would be 1% of my bankroll. And then a 5-unit play, which is my max bet, is 1.25% of my bankroll. All right, so just throwing that out there. I believe that's the most prudent way to go about sports betting. It protects you when you lose a lot, and it keeps you in the game so that you don't have to, find money or ask people to borrow money and any of that stuff. It protects your bankroll. You grow money in a really good manner. So, sorry guys, I'm going a little bit long on that. I really, really want to harp on that because there is a correct way to go about this and a correct way to really make money for yourself. Like really make thousands of dollars, extra thousands of dollars, or make it like if you have a big bankroll, you can make this a profession. You literally can. Or you can just use it as an investment vehicle, right? So it's a real thing. It's a real thing for sure. So let's keep going. I do lean under, and I also lean under too for the Ravens, just because these teams they want to run the ball, right? The Ravens want to run the ball. So the Commanders' pass defense isn't that great. The Ravens don't necessarily throw it that well, but Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator for the Commanders, is getting the most out of his defense of late. Granted, not against like the best of competition, but they're finding an identity with the Commanders' defense. So I do lean under 51.5. I might get there. Again, gotta look at the injury report, final injury report on Friday night. Friday night was where I usually release a lot more of my bets once I have a better idea of who's actually going to play and who's not. Now for the side, the plus 6.5, I'm telling you guys, it looks too good to be true. And maybe it is, and maybe it's the right side, but I mean, Commanders plus 6.5, that's got to be the side, right? I mean, it just does. But this is what I know too about sports betting is that teams at the end of the season, more times than not, they're right around 50% covering the spread. So their ATS record is what it's called. And the Commanders are 4-1 ATS right now. So could they cover this too and go 5-1? Yeah, it's early in the season. But there's only a handful of teams. There's only like 5 or 6 teams that are above ATS winning percentage of where they would be profitable to bet them every single game and just ride it out, and they'll be 54, 53% ATS at the end of the season. And there's only a handful of teams that are complete fades, where you can do the opposite, where they lose under 47% ATS 46% of the time. There's only like 5 to 7 teams like that. So if you can identify those teams, yeah, I mean, early on in the season, you're like, hey, I'm just going to ride this team the whole entire season. You have a really good feeling about them. Yeah, you're going to make a lot of money with them. But more times than not, they're going to come back down. And the Commanders probably will. And the Ravens, I don't know what their ATS record is. It's probably 3-2. But I don't know, guys. I have a sneaky feeling the Ravens do win and cover this, and that's why I'm staying off the Commanders. It looks a little too good to be true. It looks a little too good. I mean, in theory, Commanders should cover this, but I think they take a step back from their momentum this week. I think this is finally the week where the Commanders don't look as great as they have been, and I can't really explain it, but I just know football, and I know stuff doesn't make sense. There could be some fluke turnovers, special teams, blunders. Football, it can be a weird game really quickly. And I kind of have that sense about this game. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Sorry guys, I feel like I need to share some of this stuff to you guys. I really do, because there's so much misinformation and just so much stuff about like how you should be going about betting and how you shouldn't be going about betting. And you know what? To each their own. I'm just letting you know that unit size, it's working for me. And also just my experience, like I know what makes sense and what looks right and what doesn't look right. And I have my own method and all that stuff. But I just want to share that out with you guys. Okay, next game. Cardinals, Packers. Got the Packers at -5. Couple -5.5s out there as well. It's in Lambeau. Yeah, Cardinals at Packers. Cardinals are 2-3. And they had the surprise win against San Francisco, like I already mentioned earlier. But their offense, they did okay. They did better last week. They did. I mean, I will upgrade their offense in my eyes, because going on the road against San Francisco's defense, that's good. That's impressive. That's progress for sure, because they weren't doing well at their home games. The last 2 home games they had really poor offensive performances, and now they're back on track. So that's why seeing a little bit of over money. Total is at 47.5. Believe it opened like 46.5. And just like I said, guys, 47.5, right? What did I say? Key number in totals is 47, right? That's where this line is. 47.5. So I'm going to do some digging into this game. I know the Packers defense is getting healthy and I mean, besides the Minnesota game, they're playing better on defense. And I think their defense is talented, and I like the new defensive coordinator. And I lean under in this one. I do. And I mean, if you've been following me long enough, you know I love to bet unders. It's hard for me to get to the window and bet overs. It just is because, more background on me. I used to be a Division I linebacker. I played like I wasn't just on the team, like as a walk on. Like I played as all conference, and I just know defense. I know what it's like. Um, in college, you play a lot of the same coverages that the NFL does. I mean, that's just football's not like some super complex sport. It's really not. And people can think it is, but there's only a handful of coverages. You're going to play man, you're going to play zone, you're going to play man with help from the safety and the inside linebackers. And then there's different like blitzes and blitz coverages and variations of same coverages. And then you place maybe like a cover 4 on one side and a cover 2 on the other side. And that's what they call cover 6. It's really not that complex, guys. Unless you're playing Brian Flores and then he makes it complex. But with that said, is that I can look at the Packers defense and I know that, hey, that's a pretty damn good defense on paper, in my eyes. Now the Cardinals defense, they have some issues, but they've been playing better too. A little bit, and they're getting their first round draft pick back potentially this week as well. Darius Robinson, the defensive end out of Missouri, I believe. He looked really good on his highlight tape, guys. I mean, if he comes in and can get some momentum for the Cardinals pass rush, that would be huge. So I'm going to track that under. I might get there with under 47.5. The spread, that's a weird spread, guys. When it gets like -5, I feel like, and it doesn't move, I feel like that means bettors really don't have a great grasp on this game, and they really don't know. And I think that's why I stayed at 5, because if people really felt strong about the Packers, it would go to 6 in a heartbeat. 6 is, obviously a key number in sides. Or if people love the Cardinals, it'd go down to 4. It'd go down to 3.5, and it just hasn't moved yet. There hasn't been really any money to push it in either direction. And whenever you're betting against Kyler Murray, it's hard to do that because with him with points, that's attractive because he can make any situation. I mean, he can cover any backdoor cover, right? I mean, he is elusive. He evades pass rushes probably better than anybody else in the NFL, and he has a very good deep ball, very good accuracy. So +5 with Kyler, that's hard. That's hard to go against. Even though Jordan Love is looking like himself again, the knee looks better. He's looking like he's moving better. That's tough, guys. That's tough. I'm probably not going to play the side on that. I would lean. I don't know, guys. I'm not even saying I'm going to lean anyway. That's a tough line. That's a tough line in my opinion. Okay, next game. Okay, here's another. Sorry, guys. I'm trying not to go on little rants here, but I feel like I have to share this. Okay? Quarterback change. This is the first one right here. This is the first one. Texans at the Patriots. Drake May is starting. Sorry, as I'm doing that, I want to look at the bye weeks for these teams. I believe it's just Chicago and Dallas. Yeah. I'm like positive it's only Chicago and Dallas this week on bye weeks. I mean, the following week. I mean, like next week they're on bye weeks. And why is that important? Teams that have the bye week on deck since 2014, they're covering it like 60%. So like, I mean, if you're just blindly betting teams that are about to go on a bye week, you're gonna make money. That's how it's been. And I even believe if you look at this year so far, the teams that had a bye week on deck, they've made you money. I'm pretty sure about that. But anyways, my next educational point is this. Rookie quarterbacks making their debut or backup quarterbacks making their debut and it's like their first time getting the starting opportunity. I view that as a bet on scenario if they're at home. If they're on the road, I do not like that. In this case with Drake May, and this is kind of like my part two of this whole kind of educational thing. I'm not into gambling. I'm into betting my edges that I know that have been profitable for me for a long time. I need to see the product first. I'm not into guessing. I don't want to guess. Even though sports betting is somewhat of an educated guess, for sure it is. Um, but again, like I said, more times than not, don't make it complicated. If you think the team's going to win, or you even think the team has a slight chance of winning, or or an okay chance of winning, and they have a lot of points, then you should be betting the underdog. There's no doubt about it, okay? There's no doubt about it. If you think the favorite's going to win, and you feel really good about that favorite winning, just take them on the spread. You're going to win more times than not, guys, and you're going to make money. But anyways, back to the quarterback situation. Drake May at home, if I was going to play the side in this game, I would look to +7. But the Texans defense is good, guys. Their secondary is good. They got good pass rushers. The Patriots offense line is bad. I'm staying away from this game, probably side and total. Maybe not total. I might actually bet the over because 38's really low. And Drake May, he's probably going to make some mistakes or he's just going to make some great plays. And then either or, that's going to push points. But if you don't care about like, hey, you don't need to see the finished product and you feel pretty good about Drake May and you think, I mean, he did okay in the preseason. He had some good moments. +7, I would lean +7 for sure. I think at home, the team's going to be galvanized with a little bit of hope and optimism. And I think the Patriots players rise up to the occasion. And I think they play really well this week. And I think they might even have a chance to win. I really do. Am I going to bet it? No, I'm not going to bet it. I'm eager to watch Drake May. I hope Drake May plays really well, and I hope the Texans win so that there's value on the Patriots moving forward. That is an ideal situation. I want them to lose by 7, exactly, or lose by 10 on some like fluke fourth quarter situation. Drake May plays really well. It'll create really good value on the Patriots moving forward. All right, enough of that game. Buccaneers and Saints. Oh man, this is the other thing that's happening too, right, guys? So the Hurricane Milton is going through Tampa Bay. How does that affect this game, right? And then also, Derek Carr's out, and the Saints are going to go with Spencer Rattler, which I think is a great decision. Great decision. He's much better than Haener. Haener doesn't belong in the NFL right now. He just doesn't. All right. So they're going to go Spencer Rattler, who played good in moments in the preseason. And he's just the more confident quarterback than Haener. I mean, he is. Spencer Rattler, he has confidence. He has some moxie for sure about him. So I like the move to Spencer Rattler. I think that's a great decision for the Saints. I wish the Buccaneers were not like with this hurricane situation because it could go one of two ways, right? It could go like Tampa Bay's like, hey, we got to play for our city. Our city needs us. Our city's hurting. We gotta win this one for Tampa Bay. Like the city of Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, like that whole area. We have to rise. We're gonna play really well. That and we lost an awful game to the Falcons on Thursday Night Football last week where we should have won. So there's a couple weird psychological dynamics there with the Buccaneers. And I wish that those were not there. I really do. Because, I mean, the other side of the coin is this. The Buccaneers are distracted. They're not focused. They're thinking about home. They're thinking about their loved ones. They're thinking about, is everybody okay? They're doing this, doing that. Now, the Buccaneers flew out yesterday to New Orleans to practice for the rest of the week. So the Buccaneers players, they're out of Tampa Bay. They're already in New Orleans. So it's also like another thing. There's team building going on. There's camaraderie with the Buccaneers. Those are all a lot of things that you really want to bet on. So I don't know, guys, but what I do know is this. I like Spencer Rattler. I want to bet the plus 3.5. And I know I'm kind of contradicting what I just said last point is that like I don't want to bet on rookie quarterbacks in their first game ever, but plus 3.5, I really do lean that way. But I'm probably going to show discipline. I'm probably not going to bet it. Now for the total is 41.5. I mean, it depends if Antoine Winfield comes back for the Buccaneers and Kalijah Kancey and the Saints. Let's see what their injury report is for their defense. But and again, guys, like I've been saying, these over unders, these totals, 41. It's at 41. Why is it at 41? Because I think the game is going to be what Buccaneers 22 to 18. 23 to 19. That's what they think the score is going to be. Somewhere around there. Buccaneers 23 or 22 and Saints 18 or 19. That's what they think, right? So, yeah, 41.5. I kind of lean over just because the Buccaneers' offense has been so consistent, except for when they laid the egg against Denver. Um, that's a tough over/under with a rookie quarterback. Again, I'm probably not going to bet this game, guys. I want to. I might get there. I might go against my rule. I really might. But I do lean the Saints plus 3.5, and I do lean the over. All right, next game. We've got the Browns, and we've got the Eagles. The betting markets are crashing on the Browns. This opened, gosh, -3 like last week before the Browns lost to the Commanders because the Eagles didn't even play last week. This look ahead line, I believe, was -3, guys. It's all the way up to plus 9.5. And I've bet the Browns like, like 3 out of 5 times this year or something like that. It might have been four times this year. And I know you guys are going to hate me, and you don't have to play it. That's fine, but I am most likely going to be on the Browns plus 9.5. Hopefully it gets to plus 10. I mean, it's just too high, guys. It's too high. Even with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown coming back, I think, and even with the Deshaun Watson just disaster that is, I think the Browns cover this. I think they're live to win. I'm telling you guys, I don't know. I don't know why I'm so like infatuated with the Browns and want to bet the Browns. I don't know. I don't know, but everything in my betting mind is telling me plus 9.5, bet the Browns. I can't explain it, guys. I cannot explain it. It's more so is that I just don't trust the Eagles to win by that margin right now. I think that's why I'm leaning that way so heavily. And that is just, I mean, if Deshaun Watson, this is the thing, guys. The Browns should have beat the Raiders 2 weeks ago. Deshaun Watson had like an 80-yard touchdown to Amari Cooper called back. If that wasn't the case and the Browns won that game, the outlook on Deshaun Watson, the outlook on the Browns offense going into the Commanders, it would have been completely different. They would think like, okay, the Browns have figured some things out. They're doing better now. That got called back on a really bogus holding call. So in my mind, the Browns offense has shown a little bit of capability. And that's really all we need right here. If they show a little bit of capability, I think the Browns defense, even though they didn't do well last week, I think they can do better this week and keep this game close. I know, guys. I know. Probably going to be on the Browns plus 9.5. Over under. Oh, I think the over under dropped. I think it was at 43, and now it's at 42.5. I think it was 43 earlier today. I lean over. I do lean over here. Eagles defense, they're still figuring some things out. Even with Vic Fangio, they're still trying to figure it out. And then the Browns defense, they're aggressive, but they can't stop the run, and the Eagles are going to run the ball. So 42.5 under the key number of 43. I like 42.5. 23-20 gets us there. The Eagles win 23-20. That gets us there. So I might be on both side and total in that game, guys. All right. Next game, Colts and Titans. Man, this number flipped on us. It's really annoying because I want to bet the Titans. I probably will still bet the Titans. I just need to know what's going on with the Colts. I need Anthony Richardson to play in this game because if Joe Flacco plays in this game, and I said this last week, guys, on my Twitter, and I did it. Okay, I had the Jaguars for a money line bet for a 5-unit max bet play, and then the line went all the way up to +4. I grabbed +3.5 because I knew Joe Flacco was playing, and I knew since Joe Flacco was playing that the Colts were going to be in that game. Lo and behold, they're in that game. I won both bets. And I don't want to go against Joe Flacco. But the crazy thing is, the Colts defense is so bad right now that even though Will Levis is probably going to start this week, God, I wish it was Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph is just way better than Will Levis. I actually don't understand why they're not going with Mason Rudolph. Anyways, the Titans defense is head and shoulders above the Colts defense, and I love betting on the better defense at home at basically a pick 'em price. I really love that. Gosh, guys, we just need Will Levis not to be dumb. Just don't be dumb, man. If you're not dumb, it doesn't matter if Joe Flacco or Anthony Richardson plays. The Titans are going to win this game. It is a Titan spot. For sure it's a Titan spot, guys. It's like, gosh, they're 1-3. They've lost 2 home games, I believe, already. I know they lost to the Packers. And this is the other thing. This is the other thing that I have brought it up in previous podcasts. And this is just fact, guys. These are facts. This is not my opinion. If you look back to the end of time for football, if you look at the end of the year standings, and you look at even some of the, lesser teams, not the worst teams, like the worst 2 teams, those teams don't qualify. But the Tennessee Titans, they're not the Panthers, and they are not the Patriots. Okay, they're not. So, and I know that for sure. I think everybody can agree that the Tennessee Titans are a way better football team than the Patriots. And I mean, Andy Dalton, the Panthers, whatever. Maybe you can make a case for that. But anyways, I don't believe that the Titans are one of the 2 worst teams in the NFL. I believe that they're still not that great, but they're going to be a little bit better than the worst. And those teams, historically, if you look, guys, they win close to 500%, like 50% of, they have a 500 record at home. They'll win 3 or 4 games. They'll go 4-4. It just happens. It just happens, guys. I'm telling you. Go and look at it. Here. I'll look at it for last year. Let me look for last year. I'll prove it right now to you guys. All right. I didn't even look at last year. I just know this off the top of my head because I've been betting the NFL. All right, the Jets with Zach Wilson last year. They went 4-5 at home. Okay, 4-5 at home with Zach Wilson at quarterback. They weren't a good team. They went 4-5. Let's look at the Titans last year. Perfect example. They went 6-11. They might go 6-11 last year. Guess what they did at home? They went 5-4 at home last year. All right. The Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos, they were okay, but I mean they went 8-9 last year. They went 5-4 at home last year. Okay. The New York Giants went 6-11 last year, just like the Titans did. Guess what? New York Giants 4-4 at home. Okay. The Chicago Bears, they were 7-10 last year. They won 5 home games, lost 3 home games. They went 5-3 at home. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, this is just like clockwork, okay? It's clockwork. The Atlanta Falcons went 7-10 last year. They were 5-3 at home. The Seattle Seahawks, 9-8 last year. They went 5-3 at home. So, guys, I'm telling you, the Tennessee Titans will win, especially, and this like little thing I'm telling you guys right now, this home away dichotomy with these like below average teams, if they have somewhat of a good fan base, and the Titans have pretty good fans, they have good fans. There's a home field pride thing that's going on. Okay, so the Titans, When I see a team that's already lost 2 home games, my eyebrows go up. That my antenna goes up. I'm like, oh, hold on now. This team's already lost 2 home games this year. And I can't go against what facts are. If you look at history, this plays out the same all the time. They've already lost to the Jets at home. They've already lost to the Packers at home. That's 2 losses. Okay, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 home games left, guys. Out of those 6 home games, they're gonna win 4 of them. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. At worst case scenario, they will win 3 of those next 6 home games. Okay, this is a great spot. It's against the Indianapolis Colts. They're coming off a bye week. They've underperformed. The Titans have. The Titans are going to win this game, guys. I'm telling you, they're going to win this game. This might be a 5-unit play for me. I'm really serious about that. So I can only look to the Titans in this situation. They got the better defense. A really motivational spot for them against a divisional opponent. New head coach. They're going to come to play. I'm all over the Titans. That will be an official play for me. Over unders at 43. I think that's come down, guys. Man, I'm telling you right now, it's hard to bet unders with the Colts right now. I will say that. I mean, with the Titans, I can see betting unders with them. I respect their defense. I think their defense is good. Their offense is not in sync with Will Levis. I can understand under money there. I can. But, golly, I mean, even Will Levis can score 24 points against this Colts defense. And then, if Joe Flacco plays or Anthony Richardson turns the ball over. If you turn the ball over a lot, that leads to points, easy, quick points, and that leads to overs generally. So, that's my 2 cents there. That's my 2 cents on that game. And I hope you guys enjoy this. I know my podcast runs a little bit long, but I'm giving you guys some gold right there. I mean, seriously, I haven't shared that yet on this podcast. The whole home away dichotomy with below average teams. Go back and look. If you don't believe me, I just went back to 2023. I went through a list of 7 different below average teams. They all went 500 or better at home. There were only 4 teams out of last year's teams, NFL teams, and they were the bottom feeders, except for one out. The Vikings played really bad at home. That's an outlier, guys. That's an outlier right there. Okay, that generally does not happen. All right. They went 2-7 at home last year. The Vikings did. Other than them, it was just the bottom feeder teams. The Commanders were awful at home. The Patriots were awful at home. The Panthers were awful at home. That's just how it goes. That's how it goes, guys. But again, if you know in your heart of hearts, which I do, the Titans are not going to be a bottom feeder team this year, guys. I feel very confident about that. There's too much talent. There's too much good coaching on that team for them just to be a complete disaster. They will win 3 or 4 home games this year. I'm putting my money on it, for sure. All right. Sorry, guys. Went long-winded on that. Broncos and the Chargers. This one's interesting. So Justin Herbert, Chargers are coming off a bye week. They lost to Kansas City 17-10 the week before. And Justin Herbert looked better than I thought he would be. I don't know, guys. I just wish I knew if Herbert was healthier. Because if he was, I'd be all over -2.5 right now. There's -2.5 at FanDuel at -120. I would take the -120 just because NFL games land on 3 12% of the time. That's significant enough for me to go and lay -120 at -2.5 or lay -120 at +3.5 if you if one of the games were Seattle, for example, tomorrow. I would lay -120 if that was the best line I could get for +3.5 for Seattle. I would do that just because the NFL games. I mean, 12%. That's considerable. That's considerable enough for me. That justifies me laying the juice. Again, I'm not a math expert, but the statistics of it all. That's just my gut feeling. Ask a math guy if the math maths in that situation. But I do lean the Chargers here. The Broncos have been flying high. They've caught 2 teams, really 3 teams. So this is also something that I look at too. how legitimate are these records? The Broncos have caught 3 teams, in my opinion, in really bad spots. Okay, they got the Buccaneers off a big road win in Detroit, who they lost to in the playoffs this last postseason. So the Broncos got them. So the Buccaneers were feeling good, and they totally overlooked the Broncos. And the Broncos punched them in the mouth in the first half, and then it was over. It was literally over after the first half. Okay. Then the Broncos go to the Jets in a weird weather game where it's raining. The Jets are off a really nice 2-week stretch where they beat the Titans, and then they focus up on a short week and beat the Patriots at home on a Thursday night football game. Everything's looking great. Okay, the Jets overlook the Broncos, guys. That's what happens. And you can't convince me otherwise. You can say, how can millionaires overlook these teams? Guys, it doesn't matter the sport. It doesn't matter the sport. Literally, teams and players overlook lesser teams. They relax. They're not as focused. They don't go out there with the same motivation that they do if they're playing one of the best teams in the NFL. They just don't do it. They do not do it. So the Broncos caught the Buccaneers in a bad spot. They caught the Jets in a bad spot. And I bet the Broncos last week against the Raiders. Why? Because the Raiders were in an awful spot. Okay? I outlined it on Twitter. You can go back and read that of why I thought the Raiders were in a bad spot. But basically, in short, they handled the Davante Adams news at home the week prior against the Browns, and they were able to rally together and play really well. Then that kind of you kind of breathe a sigh of relief, okay. But then it just starts to marinate. Then it becomes a problem where man, I'm just tired of hearing about this Davante Adams news, and it becomes a distraction, okay, and it does. And then they go on the road, and it's, in my opinion, that was just a really bad spot for the Raiders again. And the Raiders came out and they really almost controlled the game they did control the game, and then Gardner Minshew threw the pick six. So, but they couldn't recover from that. They couldn't recover from that pick six, and the Broncos just took it to them the rest of the way. In my opinion, the reason that happened, the Raiders mentally, they're not there. They're not there right now. And now the Broncos are going to get an opposite-minded team. They're going to get a refreshed, a refocused Chargers team that's going to be highly motivated to win this game. And I think that -3, -2.5 for the Chargers, I think that's the right side. I really do. I feel like that's the right side, guys. I think I'm going to get there with the Chargers. I need to see if Joe Alt, the rookie right tackle, is going to play. I think their left tackle is a little banged up too. I need to see the defense side of the ball, who's going to play, who's not. I need that injury report before I go official with that one, guys. Over under, 35.5. That's low. That's low. Feels low. I'm probably, I lean over. I do lean over. So now on total side, so I'll say this, guys. I talked about the ATS records, how there's only three to 6 teams you can make money just blindly betting them. They'll have an above 54%, 53% ATS record at the end of the season, and then conversely, there's 3 to 5 teams that you can fade and make money just purely fading them. Their ATS record will be below 47%. Now on totals, it's different. Okay, it's very different. You can find 10 teams, especially recently, excluding 2020, because 2020 was a huge over year. Everybody was going over the total, the COVID year, because there's no crowd noise. It was just offenses didn't have to worry about hard counts or defenses, whatever, all that stuff. False starts is what I meant to say. But totals are different. If you go back and you look, you can make money blindly betting almost 10 teams. If you just bet them to go under every single week, you're going to make money. And that's why, and I know this, so it's important, guys. You have to do your homework. You have to look at these trends. These if these are 20-year trends, history just repeats itself. It just does. It just does, right? The books know everyone's going to bet the overs, everyone's going to bet favorites, and they're all going to tie in the favorites into money line parlays and teasers. They just know it. They just know it. And they keep doing it because it works and they make money doing it. So why fight it? Look to bet the under. That's what I look to do, guys. I look to bet unders first. And if I just cannot justify the under at all, then I start to look at the over. Then I'm like, you know what? I literally can't bring myself to bet this under. Let me see if the over like is something I got to take a swing at, you know? So keep that in mind. There's only like 3 or 4, maybe 5 teams at the most at the end of the season where you can say if you blindly bet the over on them, that hit more than 54% of the time. If you look at the under, okay, there's almost close to like 10 teams. Let me pull up last year. Okay, ATS record, NFL over under. All right, let's see here. All right, let me go to 2023. Okay. So there were, oh dang, sorry, I'm being made out to be a liar right now. Oh no, sorry, that's ATS record. I was about to say ATS record. Man, ATS record was all over the place last year, guys. Yeah, it was all over the place. Okay, over under. Oh no, there were. Oh, sorry, I'm on 2024. That's why it switched on me. Okay, 2023. Oh, this is at teamrankings.com. Like, if you want to find this information, teamrankings.com. You go to NFL, has the year, over, under, and against the spread, and win loss. So, I'm kind of being made out to be a liar here. Last year, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams that if you just blindly bet the over, you would win a lot of money with. But there was way more to the under, guys. Way more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Guys, 17 teams last season that if you bet them to go under in every game they played, you would win money. Literally, 17 teams, guys. 17. Okay? Like I'm telling you, look to bet the unders. Look to bet the unders. That's what I do. All right? That's why I've been making money. Okay. Back to our regular scheduled program. All right, Steelers and Raiders. It's -3. It's kind of both. Man, there's a lot of. You could get -105 for -3, and you get +3 -105 on the Raiders. So, Aiden O'Connell's going to start. Aiden O'Connell is trash, guys. He's really bad. He had his chance last year for like the last 5 games of the season. He had his chance in the preseason to win the job, and he looked awful and like really bad in preseason. He's not good. He came in last week. He didn't look good. Guys, Aiden O'Connell he's bad. He's worse than Gardner Minshew. They have a quarterback crisis in Las Vegas. I think I just called him Oakland. They have a quarterback crisis in Las Vegas, guys. Steelers are going to win this game. I am debating on doing something I know I shouldn't do long term, but I'm okay with doing this for like max bets. I really think I did like a 4-unit play on the Steelers at -3. I think I'm going to buy off of that, and I think I'm going to buy the Raiders at +3 to cancel that bet for 4 units and just eat the juice, like eat the small juice of that. And I think I'm going to bet the money line -160 on the Steelers is like a 5-unit play. I do not see the Steelers losing 3 games in a row. Justin Fields is way better than Aiden O'Connell. I know they've had some offensive issues. I know there's a little bit of George Pickens drama. I know Herbig got hurt and Highsmith is out. I know there's injuries for the Steelers. I know this is kind of like like a rally the troops kind of spot also for the Raiders coming back home. And the Steelers beat them last year in Las Vegas. So, there's some motivation for Las Vegas for sure. And obviously, in this case, usually the backup comes in and everyone plays up better because the backup's in. But that mystique, that optimism is gone. Okay? They know who Aiden O'Connell is. They don't buy into him. I would be really, really surprised, borderline shocked if the Steelers lose this game. I am willing to step out and make this a 5-unit play on the Steelers. I'm probably going to do that, guys. Total wise, 36.5. I like that to go over. I do. I mean, I like the Raiders to either one make like hero plays and somehow squeak out 17 points, and or just give points to the Steelers, which then keeps the Raiders in catch-up mode, and then the Steelers defense will relax, and the Raiders will give some like effort points at the end of the game and get like a free 10 points in the fourth quarter when they're down by like 20 points or something like that. 20-17, it's under the key number of 37. I do like over there. I do lean that way, and I don't think I'll get there because Aiden O'Connell's just so bad. I mean, if you remember, guys, Aiden O'Connell was in that game against the Vikings last year where like the final score was 3-0. I mean, literally 3-0. It was like awful, guys. Like awful. That game was embarrassing, honestly. And I don't even care about the Raiders or the Vikings. So yeah, that's my thought on the Steelers Raiders. All right, let's keep going, guys. I'm going a little bit long, but I don't know. I just love dropping all this like free, just really golden information to you guys to help you guys make more money, and hopefully you guys just earn trust in me. Like, I know these teams, I know these players. I spend all summer researching every team. I dedicate like one day to every team. You can say that's not a lot of time to dedicate to one team, but it is when you have literally known these teams for like the last 10 years like the back of your hand. And then I'm basically just refreshing and catching up on new coaching philosophies and new coaching ideas and the rookies, and watching rookie highlight tapes and seeing all the new free agent acquisitions and, you know, how it all pieces together. But like, trust me, guys, I know all these players by name. I know them. I know the defense linemen for every team. I know if they're good or not. Like, I really know this stuff. So I'm just trying to help you out, and hopefully you can gain trust in me and make money with me. All right. So next game, Falcons-Panthers. And it's tough to bet this game because the Falcons, they have the way better defense. They have the way better offense. Still a divisional game. Panthers have been playing better, obviously, with Andy Dalton, but, you know, they had a little meltdown on the road. But this game's not on the road. And the Falcons are coming off like a really, really good win where this could be a flat spot for them. And I don't know. I don't trust Atlanta to win by margin here. I would lean the Panthers. I'm probably not going to bet this. I would lean the Panthers to cover that spread. And over-unders at 47. I lean under. I do lean under, and I kind of say that because 47 is kind of high for these teams. And again, the reason why the Falcons scored a lot of points and gave up a lot of points last game, and my theory in my eyes, was because of Thursday Night Football. If you look before those games, the Falcons defense was playing well, but I don't know how motivated they're going to be in this spot, and I think that could give way to the Panthers putting up some cheap points early. And then that could get this total to around that number of 47 at the end. But I do lean under 47. I might get there. I just need to look at the injury report. But that's my thought on the Panthers and the Falcons. All right, next game, Lions and Cowboys. Cowboys +3, the Detroit -3. It's like a really weird spot in my eyes. Cowboys got a big win against the Steelers, but without like a lot of their key defensive players, right? I believe Deron Bland is practicing this week. Their like best cornerback for the Cowboys, so he might play. That would be huge. But they're still going to be without their like top 3 pass rushers, I believe, and that's why this total is at 52. Because, I mean, Detroit in theory should come out and be able to score close to 28 points. They should. They should be able to get 3 touchdowns and a couple field goals to get up and over 26 to 28 points, somewhere around there, 27, 28 points. Now the Cowboys, on the other hand, I will say this about Dak. He did turn the ball over a couple times against the Steelers. And I mean Detroit with Aiden Hutchinson, I mean they can be disruptive a little bit, but their secondary, like Carlton Davis is not good, or he's just streaky. He'll have like one or two good plays, but then he'll give up like 2 touchdowns. So it's like that's him every single week. I mean I'm not high on Carlton Davis. The rookie Terrion Arnold, he's like leading the league in penalties, and from defensive back standpoint, like obviously he's still adjusting to the NFL. I do like Eric Armstead, the nickel cornerback, and the safeties are okay too. But I mean, the Lions have shown that they have holes in that defense, and I thought they were kind of turning the corner there, but I don't know. And this is what I'm going back to, like Dak Prescott. Dak has really impressed me with just how accurate and how confident and the timing of his passes are. I mean, he's a legit quarterback, guys. I mean, say what you want. I mean, he hasn't shown up big in like the postseason, and usually doesn't do well against above average defenses in general. He usually beats up on the bad defenses, and this is just a case where it's like, side and total, I would lean the Cowboys +3 just because I think they're going to give a valiant effort at home, and the Cowboys are on a bye next week. And then also just like situational standpoint, Lions coming off a really big Monday night win, and they're coming off a bye week. Like it's kind of like a sit back and just like exhale, like, yeah, we're good, guys. We're 3-1, coming off a bye. We are who we thought we are. We're really good. We're gonna go into Dallas and we're gonna win. And on the other hand, Dallas is gonna be motivated because, well, I mean, not extremely motivated, but they have the bye week on deck. Teams do play better with the bye week on deck. I would lean over. I mean, I think there's points and bunches in this one. It would be hard for me to bet the under in this game. Maybe I might step out and bet the over here. I might bet the over here, guys, because I just don't see how the winner doesn't get to 30. I mean, I think first to 30 wins. Maybe even first to 40. I mean, seriously. All right, next game is a Sunday night football game. Bengals and the Giants. Got the Bengals -3.5. Ooh, there's some -3s now with some juice. -3s and juice. Okay, all right. Guys, I'm high on the Giants. I want to bet the Giants so badly. I think with the Giants beating the Seahawks last week, they kind of got the win that they needed to not just be a complete disaster. I think they can afford to lose this game. Not that they're looking to afford to lose any game, but it's just I don't see the Bengals going 1-5, guys. I just don't. And the Bengals have been a mess on defense. There's no denying that. And the offense has picked up like the last 3 weeks, so they're back to it. And Kayvon Thibodeau, the Giants' like second best or best pass rusher, however you want to compare him to Brian Burns, he's not going to play this week. I think he went on IR today. If you're going to give Joe Burrow time to throw the ball against the Giants defense, yikes. Yikes for the Giants. Okay, their secondary, it's getting a little better, but it's still not going to match up well against the Bengals passing options. So I do lean the Bengals -3. I'm probably going to bet them at -3. Even though I love the Giants, guys, I really want to. I honestly hope that the Bengals smoke the Giants and that the Giants just look really bad, because then it's going to create another great betting opportunity to bet the Giants. I want to bet the Giants, the G-men. I want to bet them every week, guys. I really do. I really, really do. But I gotta step back. This is a Bengal spot. The line's coming down way too much, in my opinion. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction to last week. Honestly, the Bengals should have won that game in the fourth quarter. They're up by 10 in the fourth quarter. If they just won by 10, this line would be different. It would not be -3 right now. I promise you that. And same with the Giants. The Giants pretty much should have lost. They would have gone into overtime, and I don't know if they would have won that. And then, it would be Bengals like -5. It probably would be Bengals -5, -4.5. So that's how I look at that game. Over-unders at 48. It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough because I really don't trust either of these secondaries, and I do like both of the quarterbacks in this game. And Daniel Jones, he's been playing well this year, guys. He's not the problem in New York. I will tell you that right now. I've watched enough of him this year. He's not the problem. Jets and Bills, Monday Night Football. Gosh, man, Robert Saleh got canned. I think it was unfair personally. I do. I think he deserved to at least play this week if he lost the Bills at home, Monday Night Football, and then you want to fire him. Okay, I can see that. I can understand that. That's fine. But man, you got a chance to like be first in the division after this game. Like you gotta give him a chance. That's my opinion. That was a little premature by Woody Johnson, the owner. With that said, I do like the Jets to win. I think they step up. There's a lot of veterans on that team. Yeah, Saleh not being there, like that could come to a little bit of a shock, but they have an extra day to prepare because it's Monday Night Football. So they have an extra day to process it, right? Today was their first day of practice for the practice week. So, they'll come in tomorrow. Well, no, actually today was their day off. Shoot, today was their day off. Tomorrow's their first day. So they've had a full 2 days to process this, right? Come back as a team tomorrow, address it, maybe have some weird feelings. But by the time Friday comes around, their second practice day of the week, they'll be ready to go, guys. They'll be ready to go. They'll compartmentalize everything, go through the stages of change, and be ready to go for Monday Night Football. And I've said this, guys. Guys, just listen to me. Just even if you don't want to play my bets, just listen to me, guys. I'm telling you, the Bills are not that good. Okay, they're not. The 3 wins that they had were phony wins. Okay. They beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals they're not that good, guys. Their defense is really bad, and the offense is sporadic, okay? They shouldn't have beat the 49ers. The Cardinals are not a great team. They're not an above-average team. They're not even an average team in my eyes, okay? That's who they beat week 1, and they struggled to beat them in week 1. They had to come back and salvage that victory against the Cardinals. Then week 2, they beat the lifeless Dolphins, who played an awful game, and Tua got hurt. Then they played Monday Night Football. They beat the lifeless Jags, who played an absolutely awful game against them. Okay? Then what happened? They played Baltimore, a good team, and they played Houston, a good team. They lost. They're playing the Jets. The Jets are a good and talented roster and a huge motivational spot. Circle the wagons. This is a Jet spot all the way, guys. All the way. And if Khalil Shakir's out again, forget about it. Forget about it. Forget about it. Okay? The Bills wide receivers, they're still figuring themselves out. They can't just hand the ball off to James Cook and just expect to win the game, okay? Josh Allen's going to have to get involved, and I don't like it. And I think their defense is a little overrated too. I think the Bills are sound, but they don't have like huge playmakers on that defense. I like Ed Oliver. I like Rousseau, the defensive end. I like Russell Douglas. I like Benford. Like they're solid NFL guys, all right? They're solid NFL players. They are. They are. But you need some game changers back there, right? You need some game changers. And yeah, I know, look, Benford, he had some interceptions and all this stuff, but I'm but a consistent game changer. If Benford keeps making interceptions, then okay, fine. You have a game changer. I mean, I think their best game changer over there is probably Russell Douglas or Ed Oliver, in my opinion. That's my opinion. But I mean, I don't think that's enough to be a really locked down defense. They're still going to be a good defense because they're well coached and they'll be in the right position. But I think the Jets find some success and they get a win here. I think the Jets win this game, guys. I really do. I feel pretty strongly about that. Total's at 41. Like I said, guys, it's at 41. Key number. It's not moving off of it. I lean. I don't know. That's kind of tough because I don't trust the Bills' offense against the Jets' defense. And then the Jets' offense hasn't been clicking well. I know Bills are going to be in a great position. It's going to be a hard-fought game. I don't think either team turns the ball over. So in that case, just thinking off the top of my head, I do lean under 41. I do lean under 41 there. I could easily see a 23-17 final where it ends 40, lands on 40, and stays under 41. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's the podcast. I know I went long, but sorry, not sorry. If you guys listen to this point, you're the real ones, and you're going to make a lot of money with me. Appreciate y'all. Follow me on social media. Share it with a friend. Like, subscribe, comment. I answered all my comments on Twitter, so look forward to talking to you guys. See you next Wednesday night, Thursday morning on the podcast. Free NFL bets. Appreciate you guys. See you.